We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Welcome to This Song Is Yours, the podcast where we dive deep into the art of songwriting, chat with some of the most exciting artists in the world, and explore the stories behind their songs. For another year, I am your host, Simon Fink, and thank you very much for joining us. We are back for 2026, and before we move forward, very quickly, we're going to recap what a year 2025 was. We were lucky enough to travel to the USA with this very podcast, taking some meetings and recording interviews with some incredible artists. We also had our first live show at South by Southwest Sydney, which was an absolute delight with producer and rapper Trials. And we enjoyed another incredible lap around the sun, chatting to some of the best and buzziest artists in the music industry. I very much realise how lucky we are to do this, and I'm so excited to say that we are kicking off 2026 with what is going to be another big year, and that is simply not being hyperbolic. There is some data behind that to prove it. We are going to hit the 500 episode milestone in May. We've got some very exciting plans lined up that we'll reveal in the coming months. But also earlier this week, we were nominated for an AACTA award for Favourite Australian Podcast, which feels very surreal. Some of the other nominees are Hamish and Andy and Abby Chatfield, so it does feel kind of strange. But yes, all systems are go at This Song Is Yours, and we're very excited to see how the year goes. If you would like to vote for us, by the way, before we jump into it, it is a public voted award. So please head along to the Australian Academy of Cinema and Television Awards and please vote for us if you'd like. If not, vote for one of our friends, Band Banter. Dakota at Band Banter does some incredible work. So please go there, vote for your favourite podcast. And until that point, we should probably kick things off and let's introduce our first guest for 2026. Our first guest for the year is Cavetown, the musical project of Robin Skinner. Cavetown is a beloved English indie singer-songwriter who has amassed billions of streams worldwide with his lo-fi indie rock songs that have also managed to go 6 times platinum. Today, Cavetown releases a brand new album titled Running with Scissors, and in just a few weeks, we'll be touring across our fair country as they play shows across Australia at St. Jerome's Laneway Festival 2026. Now, in today's episode, we are welcoming Robin Skinner from Cavetown onto this very podcast to chat about the year ahead for them. We're discussing Running with Scissors and this new collaborative era of music for them. We talk about the importance of ambition in songwriting and some of the songs on Running with Scissors. And we also chat about what fans can expect from Cavetown and their appearances at Laneway 2026. Now, we want to say a massive thank you to Ro and to Layla for their help with today's episode and remind everyone that the brand new Cavetown record Running with Scissors is out today and you'll find them playing live across our country at Laneway in just a matter of weeks. Links to stream the record, buy tickets for Laneway and follow Cavetown on their socials are all in today's show notes. While you are in the show notes, please make sure you subscribe to this podcast, to This Song Is Yours, and go follow us on our Instagram and our TikTok. I would love it if you did. It really does help us out and it ensures that you stay up to date with all of our new episodes, our guests and everything that we've got planned for 2026. Now let's get into it. Here is our conversation with Robin Skinner from Cavetown.
Blue, brown, my favorite color is you. Right now, you're my pretty rain. Oh, girl, without you there's nothing. Without you, there's nothing else.
Please welcome to This Song Is Yours, Robin Skinner, aka Cavetown. Robin, hello. Welcome to the podcast. Super excited to have you here. Thank you again for giving us some of your time today.
Of course. Thanks for having me. It's an honor.
My absolute pleasure. I know that there's so much going on in your world at the moment, and for fans of your music, it is a very exciting time, especially for Australian fans. There is, when people are going to be listening to this chat, there's a brand new record that's been out for a week or so, and you're about a week away from hitting our shores to play some shows, which is super exciting. For you, how are you feeling about, I guess, a busy start to 2026, kind of kicking it off with, doing all the things at once?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm so excited to come back to Australia and experience some beautiful weather in the middle of winter, which will be a nice gift for us. But yeah, I can't wait to play all these new songs. I'm in the time right now that you're talking to me, we haven't even started rehearsing, and so I'm definitely very anxious about doing my part. I know my band are gonna absolutely slay the day away, but I'm excited to bring these new songs, and I think I'm sure everyone should be excited to see how it goes too. Because right now I don't know, so I'm excited. I'm excited to play it, but it's all very difficult content. So it'll be interesting at least to see how it goes.
I think that there's a lot of excitement around this as well. Look, I might just be not talking out of turn, but I think many Australians would agree with me. We're usually at the tail end of the tour cycle. You know, the albums have usually been out for a year or so, and then we get the shows then. It is really exciting because, as I mentioned, it's about a few weeks difference before we get this album and then the shows. How are you feeling in terms of, I guess, kicking it off with a festival run? How does the festival sets, when you do have a new album, compare to those kind of headline shows of your own?
Yeah, I mean, festivals can kind of be extra stressful sometimes because, you know, I'm so lucky to have such a warm and enthusiastic audience. So when I play a headline show, I kind of know what energy I'm going to be met with, and even if I'm having a terrible day, I like the audience always just like uplifts me and has a great time, and it's great. But with festivals, it's a little less predictable. But at the same time, it's like it feels like lower stakes in some ways, I suppose, to be playing some new music, and it could also help, like, because with this new music, I'm really wanting to reach some new ears and some new people, and hopefully have it resonate with some new audiences. And I think a festival is kind of a perfect place to kind of get a widespread of different people listening to the music. And yeah, I just hope that it comes across as rehearsed as possible. It may feel less rehearsed, but yeah, it's definitely cool to be able to bring the new album to the other side of the world, like straight out the gates. It's just really cool.
It is. I just very quickly want to mention the St. Jerome's Laneway lineup is especially impressive this year. There is yourself, there's Geese, there's Chapel Roan, there's Jensen McRae. It's such a beautiful, inclusive, just a great lineup of bands. And so I'm sure that there's going to be no issue of new fans getting on board and kind of coming across and discovering new music. The album that we are talking about is the brand new record. It is called Running with Scissors. We have been lucky enough to have a listen to it before it has come out last week. So thank you again for that opportunity. How are you feeling with a new record coming out? I know we're talking about live shows, but in terms of a new album, and I think this is the 5th or 6th in the discography of yourself. Does that process change in terms of putting out an album and the rigmarole, the process of this lead up to just before it gets released to the world?
Yeah, I mean, I think the process of this album has been different by design, I think, and it's that's kind of become the whole theme of the album for me has been like bravery and taking risks and doing things differently and pushing myself. And so this whole album process, I really tried to open up my walls and invite new people into my creative space, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. I really feel like I've isolated myself a lot in the past with my creative process, and I've been very protective of every little thing that goes into it, and maybe being too stubborn about, you know, keeping things to myself, which has been something that I benefited from over the years. It's great to be so independent and like have so much control over my sound and not need so many other people to like help me make it work. But I really wanted this album to be a chance for me to just take things up a level, whether that being with my writing, or like sonically kind of pushing things to a new level with the production. And so, yeah, it's a lot more moving pieces in the process of bringing this album together. But it hasn't felt like too much. And I think that's been a common thread on the album for me, is like balancing on the line between too much and just a perfect amount of like harshness and a perfect amount of ambition. And yeah, I feel like I've achieved a good balance in this whole process, and I'm just excited to see what people think. I know it's like a bit of a pivot in my sound, but I'm really excited about it. I feel like it's just a kind of an amalgamation of everything that I've learned up until this point. Yeah.
It is an incredibly dense sonic record in terms of what you're talking about. There's a lot going on, but you seem to manage and balance it beautifully across this record. I think that there are still elements of those previous Cavetown records, and I know that you haven't been one previously to kind of shy away from trying new things, and that there's been different elements of whether it's kind of like indie rock or like more folky lo-fi kind of stuff that's played out in those earlier releases. This, while it definitely seems like you're trying something new and pushing that creative muscle, it doesn't feel like it's worlds away. It doesn't sound like a different artist, which I think is also an impressive thing, because sometimes trying something new, some artists might miss that balance. This album luckily has not. I was wondering whether you might be able to talk me through. I know it is a single that's out now, but Rainbow Gal was a song that I thought kind of encapsulated all of the album in that one track, if that makes sense, that you've got these elements of the prior Cavetown records and then what you're trying to do on this one, and it kind of blends it perfectly. Wondering if you can talk us through where that track was kind of born from and yeah, how it sits on the album.
Yeah, Rainbow Gal is one of the lighter songs on the album that I think I've been trying to let myself write more. I mean, everyone writes about love. I feel like I've written a bit about love in the past, but there's always like an undertone of like of some kind of sadness or some kind of it's never as simple as just love. And so I think Rainbow Gal is one that is just simply about how much I love my girlfriend, and how just thinking of her and thinking of her face just makes me feel better when I'm feeling unstable at all, when I'm away from her. And so I wanted to like kind of lean into, I guess, the simplicity of love also being the simplicity of just like dancing to a song. I wanted the song to have a moment for people to just dance and have fun. And it kind of amps it up in the way that like love amps up too, throughout the song. And yeah, I think I just, with that song, I wanted to create that kind of like, that kind of atmosphere of that kind of makes the listener feel how I'm feeling about what I'm singing about, which is just like excited about my girlfriend and in love and happy and wanting to dance and skip around. And yeah, that song I wrote with a producer in LA, who really, really wonderful guy who just really, really encouraged me anytime I was feeling stuck or frustrated, and really also believed in the music that we made together. I definitely hit a bit of a wall with Rainbow Gal actually, because I felt like it was too silly and too whimsical, and I was like, I don't know, is this cringe? And he's like, no, that's the song. That's what we're gonna love about it, is that it's just like it's simply fun. And he helped me win me on it, and I'm really thankful for that, because it's like it's one I'm really excited to play live and see people dance. And yeah, I feel like a lot of my music has some undertone of like insecurity or whatever, but I've been trying to let myself sing more about love and happy feelings and have it just be that. Yeah.
It definitely, well, firstly, thank you for sharing that. I do kind of love the fact that obviously, and like any songwriter, I think that there's an element of either whether it be cringe or there's uncertainty of whether the emotion is going to land in how you want it to land. And sometimes it is that relinquishing or having a third party kind of go, no, it is the right thing. You are doing the right thing. And I kind of love that that's where this song has landed. It does, yeah, in my mind, and might just be one man's opinion, encapsulate what this record is trying to do. And I think that's really impressive. I'm curious, when you went into the songwriting of it, having these little like electronic flourishes and almost like little touches of like hyper pop almost, was that what you knew you wanted to kind of, that was the direction you wanted to take, sorry? Or was it that as you were playing around and as you said there and you collaborators, that this kind of sonic playground just emerged as what you were interested in playing around with?
Yeah, I think this one we started with like a little like sample snippet that I think guided the whole song, which was that when the song goes super mono, when like all the width is taken out of it and it's the first chorus, that little kind of 8-bitty kind of ringtone-y sounding synth, I think I chopped it around a bit to like change the flow of it to match what I wanted it to do. But we found that sample and we were like, oh, that sounds good. That's like ear candy. And sometimes, many times in this album writing process, if a song didn't start from like a definite like lyric or like a progression that I'd already come up with, it was kind of built around some sample that just kind of captured something in me. And I was like, this sounds like the bit of the song. And so I think we were really guided by that little sample that we found, and it pushed it into like a very crispy electronic kind of video gamey hyper pop, lots of very dry cuts and stuff. And that's kind of a texture that I have been really enjoying in like my own listening recently, and something that I wanted to kind of take into this album. Which is, I think a new sound for me. I find that hyperpop production just kind of makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up in such a brilliant way, and so I wanted to try and recreate that feeling with my own songs.
I absolutely love that. Well, look, I think it's definitely paid off. Robin, we usually kind of wrap things up with our guests asking what they're currently listening to. I know you just mentioned there's some maybe hyperpop elements in your current listening habits. Is there anything that's on high rotation for yourself?
High rotation right now? An album that really sonically inspired Running with Scissors is Fishmonger by Underscores. I got to work with her on one of the songs on the album too, which was really fascinating to watch her work, and she really added some like key elements to Sailboat, and I'm excited for everyone to hear that. Fishmonger by Underscores, beautiful record, lots of masterful hyperpop production, very well done.
Absolutely love that. Robin, thank you very much for coming onto the podcast. Congratulations on the brand new Cavetown album. It is called Running with Scissors, and we will see you in a few weeks here in Australia at Laneway Festival. We'll make sure details for both the album and festival are in the show notes. But thank you again for coming onto the podcast.
Thanks for having me.